Hey guys, welcome to Building Badazz. We're going to be converting E-Rod's Customs into Building Badazz. This is my home shop here that I've been taking the last 25 years to build, and we are going to focus on not just things that we're doing in the shop here, but we want to focus on doing feature builds and other things that other people have built that are badass as well. And we really want to see you guys send me some of that stuff in, some of the things that you've seen that people have built badass, over the top custom stuff. And it doesn't matter what it is, whether it be a really cool tree fort, a car, a motorcycle. We're really big into power sports and everything, and that's where our background is. And between snowmobiles and cars and four-wheelers, go-karts, dirt bikes, that's kind of stuff that I'm into. But we'd also like to see other things that other people are into that are badass. And we're going to have people send some of that stuff in. We'll feature some of this other stuff, and we're going to go on tours on all these different shops all over that are building things to support badass things as well. So that's what more or less Building Badazz is going to be. It's just really cool stuff that people go over the top to build and make it some unique product that is over the top awesome, that just catches people's attention because of the details that are involved in it and the absolute craftsmanship. So that's what we're really into, and we want to share some of that stuff with you. So we're going to convert E-Rod's Customs into Building Badazz here. So if you notice the brand change, that's what that's going to be. We got some really cool merchandise we're going to be working on, some hats and t-shirts and stuff as well. But why don't we go on a quick little shop tour? And this is my humble abode here. This is a 38 by 56 now. It started out as a 26 by 26 garage with one light bulb, one outlet. Everything in here is done by hand with these two hands, help from family and friends, and that's it. Everything in here has been done by me, family, or friends, and that's it. And it is a disaster right now. We're working on a lot of different projects. This is my 63 Bel Air twin turbo daily driver. Been LS swapped for over 13 years now, before any of this stuff was available. It's got QA1 shocks in it. We're going to go into more detail on this. We're going to kind of take you through more of a brief walkthrough of everything right now. And we're going to touch base on a lot of this other stuff as we go. There's another 52 Chevy pickup that we're going to build the full frame and everything for. And like we say, we've been into customizing and building custom things, everything. This is a bike that we built, me and my son built together. And then we do airbrushing and painting and machining and everything here too. And come on through the vault door and see what the rest of the shop has in store here. Everything in the shop is all set up in specific little groups. So this is the machining area right here. And all the pieces of equipment in the whole shop here has been pieces that we have resurrected from the dead and picked up. Piece of crap, pieces of machinery that needed a bunch of work and needed motors, drives. We've converted everything in here is three-phase. We still got a lot of work to do to this lathe yet. That's a thorn in my side yet. It's missing a gear that's like this inside of this gearbox. So we still haven't got the lathe hooked up or anything yet, but we're getting a little closer. So we got our machining area over here. We got another rivet machine right here. This is a Pullmax machine that I've restored everything and making tools for it like crazy to finally get to use this Pullmax machine. And it's a sheet metal forming machine is what this is. And we'll take you through some of that a little bit later on as well. We're just going to do kind of a brief walkthrough, and we'll come back and we'll focus on doing a little bit more information on these machines that we've restored and stuff, and show you exactly how they work, and show you tips, techniques, and tricks that you can use for doing that. Then we also have a welding area right here. So the machining area is separate with the welding fab table and stuff, and then with everything in here is all built from scratch and used from recycled materials, recycled steel, recycled file cabinets, recycled tubing, All these cabinets up here are all previously recycled from another job that I worked on one time, and got to buy a bunch of cabinets and stuff from. These are blueprint files that are converted into workbench drawers and everything, and all the stuff in here is just made from scratch out of recycled materials. So nothing is high dollar, but it's just all done efficiently because that's all I could afford. And I like to do things to make things out of repurposed items and everything. So this is a bead roller machine that I've been working on and just really got this thing up and running now. And it's got a little wing right here. It's all motorized with a foot pedal control. And we're going to be making some really cool stuff with that here coming up pretty soon as well. This is another 70 Chevelle Frame with another car that I'm building right now. Built everything on here from scratch, and we got a lot more work to do to this. That's going to be for another feature another time. More equipment in here is our English wheel, our anvil that's built out of a railroad track, our Beverly shears, and we got a little bit more work to do to this English wheel to make it completely functional and get some better dies for it. Our tubing bender that we got working, it's got the tubing roller, it's got our notcher, everything right on here for bending up some roll cage material. Other things like this is a Ford 9-inch jig that we had made for fabricating Ford 9-inch rear ends from scratch. We got LS motors everywhere in here. And now we come, oh actually before we get into that, this right here is my air compressor enclosure right here. This keeps the sound down around the air compressor. It's got a couple fans up here that are hooked up to a thermostatic switch. It vents in from the bottom. When it gets hot, it blows the hot air out the top to keep it cooled down enough to keep it quiet. And we got some more painting and airbrushing stuff to do on that. And then also, when you get over into this bay, the air compressor comes out, the intake comes out through the wall right here, and then it goes into a couple mufflers and ties onto the air filter, and that quiets that air compressor down so you don't even barely notice it's running at all. This is hooked up with another ductwork right here. That goes into the paint booth area, or makeshift paint booth area, and then we come into here and we'll take you through some of this, and this is literally completely changed from 2 weeks ago. Everything in here is changed and shuffled around because I'm always looking for upgrading pieces of equipment and deals that I can find on pieces of equipment that I need. And everything in here, the belt sander, the bandsaw, was just piles of crap when we got it, and redid both of those and painted them all up. And oh, check this part out too with the belt sander. On this side we got a header tied in that's actually functional, that ties into the exhaust. On the central exhaust is behind the garage outside, and everything on this whole entire wall now is tied in with that central exhaust vacuum system. And all the grinders, the saws, everything is into that dust collection system outside. And then the miter saws, we have a double miter saw stand with kind of a dust collection system behind it, that the table is elevated and can move up and down for different heights that we need to cut anything. We built our buffer from scratch with just a bunch of old machinery parts and everything, some old tractor bearings and just recycled material. Another piece we made out of all recycled material is a plywood sandblast cabinet that's all made from scratch. And then we have a rivet machine that we restored, another rivet machine that is made in Minneapolis here in Minnesota. Then we go over to the slip roller, a Pexto slip roller that we use for forming rolling sheet metal. We'll go through a lot of some of this stuff later on individual. So if you got any questions about any of it, let me know, drop me a note, and we'll try to get that answered for you. This is our latest purchase that we just picked this up just a couple days ago and got a really good deal on it because the knuckleheads that owned it said the thing almost killed them because the cables broke on it and the table came down. Well, the only way that could possibly happen, the cables lift this table up and only the table up, they must have not put the pins in it at all, and they used the press, and they pressed against the cables and broke the thing, and it shot down and said it almost killed them, so they wanted to get rid of the press. Great for me, because I benefit from idiocy. Like, you want to get rid of it cheap because you think it's dangerous? Well, I'm going to fix it and make something cool out of it. So we're going to change this thing up and make a whole bunch of other stuff with it. I'm going to make some press brake dies for it, and dimple die punches and stuff like that we're going to do with it as well. This is another really cool piece of equipment here. We got a little bit left to do to this to get this finished up, and this is a cold cut chop saw. There's a blade that goes on here that's not on it right now, and it's basically a miter saw for steel, and it will cut tubing like this. It will cut it like that, and the vise goes in here, clamps it down, and you can set that whatever degree that you want it at, and it cuts just a burr-free finish, super nice, accurate machine. That's going to come in really awesomely handy for doing roll cages and stuff like that. So we got that just about all done and painted up and everything too. Our horizontal bandsaw we bought with no motor on it and converted that to a VFD drive as well. And then this is another piece of equipment that I just picked up, and I've been looking for one of these forever, and you just don't find these awesome get bed finger brakes. You just don't find them around, and if you do, they're on the other side of the world somewhere. It costs so much to ship them. This we found locally, and we were able to go pick this up. But you probably noticed outside that there's a sheet metal brake outside too. That was one of them that I had in here that we shuffled everything around. We'll show you shots from a couple weeks ago too, and you wouldn't believe how much stuff changed in here. But now this is only a 12-foot wide area, but we have all this equipment in it. Notice everything is on wheels in here, and that way we can move things around and work a space that you normally wouldn't be able to work with something like this. This is our shear that we restored as well. This shear is built in 1898. 1898, think of that, people. There wasn't even electricity in most of the places around for that. Somebody designed this with pencil and paper and cast all the steel and tapped all the holes and drilled them all with no electricity. Now you imagine how that was compared to what we are so spoiled today with all the tools and power equipment and stuff like that that we have. But it still works. It works awesome. So there's our 32-inch jump shear for our Pexto jump shear, and that's more or less the fab area back here. Then we got another workbench that's made out of 100% recycled materials as well, file cabinets, and then I made all the drawers for the middle, and you have all our paint can storage, and like I say, we're really big into artwork and everything too. We really like painting and airbrushing and creating things that way. So all these cabinets, benches, shelves are all paint made from scratch. And this is our paint mixing area. Got a fume hood over here and stuff too. And then we get into our paint booth right here. Oh, here's one of Austin's cosplay costumes as well. This is something that we made from scratch of just all recycled material as well. Candlesticks, a vegetable steamer, colander. This is a float out of a 1963 Bel Air. Then we got some old gauges on it, some water bottles, and some aluminum that we made, some football shoulder pads, and there is a lot more to this costume. Oh, these are from our lawnmower right here, the strut arms off a lawnmower. These are off a chair that somebody threw away, and then they have ski pole handles on it, and there's a lot more to it actually. The whole has a high altitude flying kit that goes on it with the respirator and goggles and World War II helmet and everything that goes on it. So that's one of Austin's specialties, is he's really big into the cosplay stuff, and that kind of stuff. You can use a lot of this stuff in the automotive world and everything too. So just because you're seeing some of this, here's some of the other stuff that Austin is working on right here. His Star Wars costumes, and so we got all kinds of stuff like that going on. We'll show you some tips and techniques for airbrushing and painting and doing sculpting and modeling foam and everything as well. So now we're in our makeshift paint booth that that everything in here is all made from scratch as well, and this used to be just a dirt floor and everything in here, and now all the ductwork is all set up for a makeshift paint booth, and we can do any of our painting we have for everything in our house. Did all our trim and doors and everything else. We painted and stained and stuff out here and used the booth and the ventilation and everything for that. And we got a little bit more coming up on that also, because the in-floor heat that's in this, we have to put a, we're going to put a heater core in these vents on the other side so we can heat this place up, because in the winter time it draws too much cold air out of it, sucks the air out of here when we're painting anything, and we're going to touch base on some of that stuff later on. This is a 70 Chevelle project that we're working on right now. Perfect rust-free Arizona car, and we just got done putting the whole frame and the suspension. It's got QA1 stage 3 suspension on it. All the A-arms and sway bars and coilover shocks, everything are all QA1 stuff on it. So this thing's going to handle like a dream. This thing is about at its ride height right here. We got a bunch of stuff to change around on it, but we fabricated all the twin turbo setup on it. We fabricated all the stainless pipes, all the turbo mounts, all the front drive accessories onto the motor. We're also going to fabricate a new firewall for it. We're going to fabricate new trunk inside of the trunk and finish all that up. We'll fabricate a center console. We'll fabricate the whole tunnel that goes across the T56 transmission. This is about 1,000 horsepower, this will be, and 1,000 horsepower, and you can get in and drive it every day. But we're going to get this thing on the road here pretty soon too, so we got a lot of really cool stuff coming up. And why don't we just go take a quick little tour through the Bel Air, and I'll show you what that thing's all about. And this is our killer clock wall right here. A friend of ours on Garage Journal had invited us in on this clock building contest to build a cool clock, and that's kind of spiraled out of control from there. We decided to build a cool clock, but then we also decided to make a vault door tie in with the other vault door that we had already done, and then well, a lot of ideas started flowing from there, and then we just kept going all the way around the corner and everything too. So it goes from this wall all the way to that wall. We're still going to do a bunch more airbrushing over by the English wheel and everything yet to finish tying all this stuff together. And this is our garage door going out to the other bay, so let's see what's behind door number 2. And this is our 63 Bel Air project. That's kind of in disarray right now. We're doing a whole bunch of rebuilding on it and modifying, and we've been driving this thing for about 13 years now. LS swap before anything was available for LS swap and anything, and we made the twin turbo system on it, everything from scratch. This has got QA1 4-way shocks on it as well, and it is 100% purpose built to go drive it. And we're really big onto the hashtag Go Drive It movement that's sweeping across the nation of people that love to drive their cars. And we drive the wheels off of this thing. We autocross it, we road race it, we drag race it, we pull a camper with it, and I usually drive it every day. And I am just beside myself this year. I haven't even driven it once this year. With COVID going around and all the crazy stuff that happened, we decided to do a whole bunch of remodeling on this, improve it, and chop it all apart. We had some bad body mounts on it that spiraled into taking the transmission out because of the body mount was allowing the body to flop around on the frame so much. So this is, the whole car has been Sharpie markered, and most of it faded away because it got left outside all winter long and froze to the ground, and a lot of them faded away. So we're going to start up with that all over again, but we're going to do some more improving on it. And right now we are trying to make a 335 tire fit under the wheel well. It's these massive tires right here that we actually got for the Chevelle and made them fit on there, and we found out that it wouldn't be that much more work to put them on the Bel Air as well. So we're going to make room for these massive 13-inch wide wheels with 335 tires on the back of the Bel Air right now as well. So a lot of, and you notice we have our trailer hitch on here, hidden hitch. We did a bunch of frame modifications to that. We're also redoing the whole inside of the trunk and the wheel wells and everything right now. A lot of bead roller work going to happen on the inside of the wheel wells and the inside of the trunk area. Now we have to put our whole air ride system in it, and we have to get this thing on the road in the next 3 weeks to get this thing finished up, because we're gonna hashtag go drive it on one guy's garage drag weekend. We're gonna go to 3 states, 3 tracks, 3 days, drive about 900 miles or so, hit 3 drag strips on it, and see if we can't get this big boat that weighs 4,700 pounds into the 10-second quarter-mile range. So that is what Building Badass is all about. It's just doing things over the top awesome. We want to see that creative stuff. Also, send us some material that we can use. We want to feature a lot of really cool stuff, even cool shops that are making awesome badass parts and everything, CNC machining, laser cutting. We want to see some of that stuff too. We're going to tour powder coating facilities. We'll go up to QA1 and give you a shop tour of that whole place. That's a really cool place as well. And we want to see other stuff like that. So that's what Building Badass is all about. And I hope you guys join us for some more adventures. And don't forget to click like, subscribe below, hit that little bell icon. It'll give you reminders to when we drop new videos. But stay tuned, we're going to be dropping them at least once a week now. So we got all kinds of really cool stuff lined up for you. Don't forget to see what's coming up next.